You're watching the Hard Facts, coming to you straight from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime studio. Viewers, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's advice to Hindus, Batenge to Katenge, divided we shall perish, is unapologetically blunt. Not just that, made in the context of an ongoing pogrom against Hindus in Bangladesh, it is unfiltered too. And those who have heard him speak before will know that he is not one for diplomatic niceties. In Dhaka, his words will shame the authorities into a sheepish silence, but here in India, they have triggered a verbal row. The opposition that prides itself on its secular liberalism has reacted predictably. Its big guns have accused Yogi Adityanath of polarization. Before we listen into some of their reactions, or I bring you up to speed with some of the reactions, let's first listen into what Yogi Adityanath has said today that has led to this backlash, this huge debate, this huge row, this war of acrimony breaking out in India.
और भाइयों, राष्ट्र से बढ़कर के कुछ नहीं हो सकता, कुछ नहीं हो सकता। और राष्ट्र तब सशक्त होगा जब हम एक रहेंगे, नेक रहेंगे, तभी नेक रहेंगे। बटेंगे तो कटेंगे। आप देख रहे हैं ना, बांग्लादेश में देख रहे हो ना, तो वो गलतियां यहां नहीं होनी चाहिए। बटेंगे तो कटेंगे, एक रहेंगे तो नेक रहेंगे।
एक रहेंगे तो नेक रहेंगे, बटेंगे तो कटेंगे. As I told you, viewers, the opposition has reacted predictably. Its big guns have accused Yogi Adityanath of polarization, of using his office to spell out a divisive message aimed at heightening Hindu anxieties. The opposition is dead right. The Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister is guilty as charged, and one suspects, and this is the interesting part, that he would not deny it either. As paradoxical as this may sound, the opposition has a lot to do with creating the circumstances that give Yogi Adityanath the confidence to appeal to a sense of siege among some Hindus. For far too long, for vote bank considerations, the opposition has relied on perpetuating a culture of religious and caste exceptionalism in India. Simply put, through a variety of stratagems, it has picked at the seams of some of the deepest fault lines running through the social fabric. The Hindu community has been diced up into several categories in the name of social justice, and the Muslims have been corralled into a monolithic vote bank by manufacturing fear of the majority. Viewers, it's for this reason that the BJP today sees itself as the defender of a monolithic Hindu interest. Of course, it has suffered a few reversals in this direction because it found that its grand social coalition constructed over the last 10 years was fractured in this 2024 Lok Sabha elections. It found that some of its non-core Hindutva voters, or those voters that were beyond its core Hindutva support base, drifted away and joined some of the opposition ranks, especially in Uttar Pradesh, viewers. And with Yogi Adityanath keen on sending out a message, a reaffirmatory message that his party is still on top of things, especially ahead of a slew of by-elections in the state of Uttar Pradesh, we have heard him speak to a sense of Hindu anxiety. But let's ask an open-ended question, viewers, because we don't want to prejudge this issue. It's a sensitive one. Is Mr. Yogi Adityanath guilty of communal polarization, or is his message a timely call, a wake-up call to Hindus before it is too late? Viewers, let's open this up. Let's ask some fundamental questions. I want to first begin by setting the stage, by getting the opposition to put its argument forward. Though predictable, let's get a sense of why they feel aggrieved, why they feel that Yogi Adityanath is being a communalist in their words. And let me just take you through some of those reactions. Akhilesh Yadav, the Samajwadi Party chief, says job of responsible people is to protect from fear, not to spread fear. Atmosphere of fear has been created by BJP rule, a disgraceful statement by Mr. Yogi Adityanath. Ameek Jamai, Samajwadi Party spokesperson, says, who is the one dividing people of India? Remark exposes a mindset of communal division. Asaduddin Owaisi, AIMIM chief, says Yogi Adityanath has targeted Muslims in speeches. Yogi Adityanath can't preach unity to anyone. So, let me ask you, on what basis is the opposition picking this absolute bone of contention with Yogi Adityanath? Tehseen Poonawalla, would you like to go first?
Rahul, at the onset, a very happy Janmashtami to you, to all my fellow panelists, and all my viewers. May Lord Krishna bless our country. It is unfortunate that the sitting chief minister of a great state like Uttar Pradesh and our country, India, speaks such nonsense on such a pious day. Let's ask some basic fundamental questions. If Hindus are going to be cut, who will cut them? If someone is going to cut our Hindu fellow citizens, Anand is an atheist but of Hindu origin, Ratan Shardaji, you, if someone's going to cut them, what is the chief minister doing? What is the home minister of India doing? What is the prime minister of India doing? Are they sitting? They don't know that people are going to cut them? Whose job is it? Number two, since he's talking about Bangladesh, a friendly neighbor of ours, where there is a problem right now with Hindus in Bangladesh, and he's obviously spoiling diplomatic relations, but okay, which a chief minister shouldn't speak, but chalo, given that he wants to polarize elections for 10 assembly seats, he's spoken about Bangladesh. May I humbly ask him, why doesn't the present union government extend the date on CAA from the vague 31st December 2014? I've challenged that in Supreme Court, and I've been on several panels with Anand Ranganathan. I'm asking you, Rahul, and I'm asking my Dr. Anand Ranganathan, for whom I have a lot of respect. What is 31st December 2014? What is this cut-off date? It's a vague date that's come in some Babu's head, or it's come in the Honorable Prime Minister's head, or it's some balloon that's bursted in the Honorable Home Minister's head, or it's some gas balloon that's bursted in one of the Home Secretary's head. What is 31st December 2014? Where does this date come from? Why is this vague date? After 31st December 2014, you've had Taliban takeover of Afghanistan. You've had what's happened in Bangladesh. Why is that vague date? Why has that not been extended? Now I know the reply will be, oh, because if you extend it, Modi ji will get scared. You will not allow him to work. You will not allow him to function. So we've heard all of that. Please, without crying victim, explain to me what is 31st December 2014 for CA. Number two, if someone's going to cut Hindus, who are these someone, and what is the chief minister, home minister, and prime minister doing? And they are so incapable. My request to them via you is resign, step down. We will run the country, and we'll run it much better than they
are. Okay, so let's get the other side. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, since you have been invoked, and let me tell you, Tehseen, that I have written a piece recently for the Open magazine saying that...
I read it.
Yeah, so there you go. So let me just bring in Dr. Ranganathan. All that be as it may, Dr. Ranganathan, Tehseen Poonawalla seems to be suggesting that this is empty fear-mongering for the sake of fear-mongering. Do you buy into this?
Well, was the 1990 genocide of Kashmiri Hindus empty scaremongering? Was it? Do I need to ask rhetorically my good friend Tehseen, who is going to cut the Hindus? Does he not know who cut the Hindus in 1990? Is this a question to be asked? Look, Rahul, coming back to this very painful topic, and I'm glad we're having this discussion finally, and thank you for it. Look, Yogi Adityanath is a good man. He's a noble man. I don't doubt his intentions. He's a Sanatani. He works not only for every segment of the society, but also has Hindu interests in mind. And this country will survive only when Hinduism survives. So I don't doubt his sincerity in what he said. And in what he said, he is correct. If Hindus are divided, we will be destroyed. The history of our civilization has proved this time and again. Let me illustrate this with a contemporary example, because there are hundreds of examples that are historical. But this is a contemporary one, which we ourselves have forgotten. Remember how the entire Indian Muslim community united, and many of them indulged in the infamous Azad Maidan riots to force the Indian government to take in Muslim Rohingya refugees from Myanmar during the UPA? Well, it resulted in us taking in 40,000 Rohingya Muslim refugees. It is another matter that no one from the same Indian Muslim community ever united or forced the Indian government to settle the 7 lakh Kashmiri Hindus who were driven out from their homes. Anyhow, all the Hindus remember Azad Maidan. But do any Hindus, do they remember Khamong Sheikh? We don't, Rahul. What is Khamong Sheikh? Khamong Sheikh is a place in Myanmar where Muslim Rohingyas murdered more than 100 Hindus and their families mercilessly, raped, pillaged, even buried some alive. Many from among those Rohingya Muslims who committed this atrocity might be right now in India as refugees. But as I said, no Hindu ever came out to talk about Khamong Sheikh. All we do is get jealous of Indian Muslims uniting for Rohingya Muslims, uniting for Palestinian Muslims. Rahul, if you are jealous of someone else's unity, it means you are divided. So our fate is sealed. But then again, I ask Yogi ji, is the fact that 7 lakh Hindu refugees are still in their own land refugees a result of Hindu disunity? Yogi ji, fact is, जब जब हिंदू बटे हैं, बटे नहीं हैं, तब तब भी वो कटे हैं. Fact is, Hindus united to choose a government that promised to work for their interests not once but what has the government done except give patronizing lectures? Has constitutional, legal, educational, social discrimination against the Hindus ended? Far from it. Has the BJP removed state control of Hindu temples, thereby allowing Hindus to make thousands of their schools and hospitals to prevent lakhs of Hindus leaving the fold of Hinduism in the face of incentives by other religions? No. Has this BJP government removed the Places of Worship Act? No. Has this BJP government removed the Waqf Act? No. Has this BJP government removed the conjunction of RT with 93rd Amendment that is allowing only the Hindu-run schools to be shut down? No. Has this BJP government rehabilitated 7 lakh Kashmiri Hindus who are victims of genocide? No. Is that a result of Hindu disunity? No. The fact of the matter is Hindus united and they did what any democratic country can do other than going for street veto which the other community does, like in Azad Maidan. Hindus united and said, here is a government that is promising us to deliver something that is just, that is going to remove discrimination. So Yogi ji, I don't doubt your interest, but अपने गरिबान में झांक के देखिए. Hindus unite, okay, आपको चुना, आपने क्या किया उनके लिए?
That's an interesting take. Let me bring in Ratan Sharda on this point. He's an RSS thinker and also Kamru Chaudhary. Ratan Sharda, what do you make of these remarks? Now, you've heard Tehseen, and Tehseen says that, look, at the end of the day, this is fear-mongering. You are trying to create this sort of spectre of minorityism and some sort of a obvious malign intent amongst Muslims that when they sort of exceed a particular number, then they will come after Hindus. And of course, there are many in our society who have been pointing to Indonesia and other countries saying there the Muslims are in a majority, and because they're in a majority, the Hindus there are okay because there is no RSS and all of that there. So there is no backlash, there is no reason to irritate the Muslims. How do you respond to these comments?
Rahul, actually it is laughable because Hindus are not there from RSS is not there from 7th century onwards. RSS is hardly a force when partition took place. RSS was nowhere in 1921, Mopla riots happened. So all this talk is pure BS, to put it very bluntly. Now coming to Krishna Janmashtami, which we remember, I would remember very piously Krishna not playing flute, but Krishna having Sudarshan Chakra. That is my view of Krishna. Now also talking about divisive politics, there is a gentleman in Kashmir who said that we will reward terrorists, we will give them 1 crore, we will release all the terrorists arrested in Kashmir, well yet they will hang BJP leaders who were unjust to Kashmiris. So what kind of statement is this? And does any of the Congress person support it? Does Rahul Gandhi support it? And why unifying Hindus are a problem, but dividing country in the name of Ummah, in the name of secularism, by creating fear psychosis and creating Pakistan and Bangladesh is very, very secular? I do not know. And when you talk about a sect or religion which is keeping quiet about on injustice of their own people, whether gender or whether basis of their own sect, Shia, Sunni, etc., you keep quiet, that's secularism. and you will not speak about that, but you will speak about casteism in Hindu Dharma. You will try to break them. You will spread fake news during entire 2024 and try and gain maximum mileage in terms of votes dividing Hindus, and now today claiming to be secular. I do not understand what's the logic. And you support Sharia when there is Waqf Board Act, which is purely communal in every sense possible. But you want that kind of Sharia in India, but you say we are not divisive. So on the very basis on which India was divided, that basis being used now to prove that you are secular, I can't make any sense of it. And further, if we say, when somebody says we are not kafirs, we are not afraid, we will fight, Mamata Banerjee, she's secular. But when somebody says that kafir should rise above caste and creed, that is communal. We have a gentleman from TMC who said that Hindus, poor Hindus, we will convert them all to take them to heaven. That is secular. But those who criticize it and say Hindus must unite, become communal. We have very, very, very dystopic kind of, debates in India where somebody will suddenly bring in Yogi Adityanath, talk about what somebody has done something 2 days back. There's a crowd who talked about Sartan Se Juda in protesting against a sadhu who said something about a Muslim religion as quoted by themselves. So nobody takes any action. That is very secular. Nobody speaks about it. Women are raped in Bengal. Women are raped in Bengal. They are raped in various areas. We will keep quiet. Hindus are persecuted in Pakistan, in Bangladesh. We will talk about CA not having a deadline of endless deadline, but we will oppose it in every place, every street, and you will say that we will not allow CA to take place. Is this secularism? So let us come out of it. Jahan jahan Hindu ghata, wahan wahan desh bata. That is another argument I can give you. Look at Afghanistan, look at Pakistan, look at Bangladesh, and those who talk of Indonesia, you know how the situation is changing in Indonesia? Are we aware what is happening there? I wrote an article about the very, very strong moderate Muslim moderation, which is keeping away from rapid radicalism, which is being spread by Tablighi Jamaat of Indian Maulvis and Bangladeshi Maulvis. But none of them any of them ever talk about that moderate strain of Islam in Indonesia? No. Because they want this polarization to happen. If they do it, it's secular. If Yogi does it, it's a communal. And as far as UP is concerned, Yogi has shown how we can control communal elements, how we can control riots, and how can he make people's life safer. So let's not get there.
Okay, just for a few seconds before I come to Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, in the context of Bangladesh, which is a context that Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh has invoked, I don't know if you can see this photograph, viewers. Here is a cleric. He is astride an open top, almost open top Toyota Land Cruiser. He's popping his body out of the sunroof. I don't know if you can see him, and he has a big mic in his hand, in fact. Do you know who this person is, viewers? This person is the Mufti Jashimuddin Rahmani, who is the chief of the Ansarullah Bangla team, or BAT, an Al-Qaeda inspired militant who basically, viewers, is highly bigoted, has very ingrained anti-India sentiments, routinely goes out to bait Indians, and that to Hindu Indians, and he has received a hero's welcome and a state escort, if you please, as he is released from jail by the interim administration in Bangladesh, my friends. And here he is giving his victory speech with this big loudspeaker in his hand, viewers. So the pseudo-liberal ecosystem in India that was celebrating people's power in Bangladesh, warning Modi that listen, this will happen to you here. Now look at what the revolutionaries have fished out from their hat of possibilities, viewers. And you tell me, if Mr. Yogi Adityanath is not right to fear for the future of Hindus that is already facing an existential crisis in Bangladesh. So, Mr. Kamru Chaudhary, it's all very well to suggest that Mr. Yogi Adityanath is rallying the Hindus, etc., he's being communal, but the facts speak for themselves. And let me ask you, sir, let's come back to India, and I think Dr. Ranganathan began with that example close to home. So let me ask you, Mr. Chaudhary, what happened to the Hindus that were living in India's only Muslim majority geography, Kashmir, the valley? Can you tell me?
Yeah,
Can you also tell us what is Congress
Rahul,
years back?
No, no, one second. One second. Let him just answer that question. What happened to those Hindus,
Rahul.
and why do you think they were thrown out of Kashmir, which is the only Muslim majority geography in this country? I mean, there are others, but I'm talking about a whole territory, union territory.
Rahul, before I answer your question, can I have the liberty of just a minute to reply to the actual
No,
debate
you can, sir, reply to
Thank you.
anyone
Thank you very
and not
much.
answer my
Thank you very
question.
much.
You also have
No,
that
I'm
liberty.
answering.
Don't worry. I am a very liberal person.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
you are at
I know
liberty
it.
not
I
to
know-
answer
I
my
know.
question. You can answer everyone else's question. I know these questions can be a little
Okay,
tough to answer.
let me answer the first basic point of debate tonight is the Yogi Adityanath's comment. Let me take the reference of Kangana Rawat's comment, or rather outrageous comments against the farmers' agitation. Immediately, Bharatiya Janata Party had to come out with a clarification that it did not subscribe to Kangana Ranawat's statement. What was the reason? Because Haryana elections are coming up. In Haryana, there are no Muslims to be wooed by the Bharatiya Janata Party. Rather, the entire voters of Haryana will be up and against the BJP if the BJP did not come with a clarification. In Uttar Pradesh, the reverse is happening. I will not cite the example of Uttar Pradesh alone, but it's happening across the country. Take the example of Assam's Himanta Biswa Sharma and his statements are in touch, in line with what Yogi Adityanath wanted to project today. Basically, the difference between the two chief ministers is that one is governing the world's largest state of the Indian Union, and another is in a ecologically or geographically very sensitive part of India. Both of them are gaslighting as well as stereotyping simple incidents to vilify a particular community, that is the Muslim community out here. Otherwise, you see.
So, what is the meaning of the term gaslighting?
I'm coming to that.
No, explain the term gaslighting, please, because some of our viewers may not know what this word means.
When the sitting chief minister of Assam, who has taken oath on the Constitution of India, says that it is very dangerous that Muslims are going to overtake the Hindus in Assam without any visible data. He says that rapists happening in Mia areas are brought out from the Mia areas with obvious reference to the Muslim community.
So, no, hang on. We are now talking about the Chief Minister of Assam. Can we talk about Yogi Adityanath? I thought that is who we are discussing.
It's
not connected. Let's first speak to. No, hang on. Let's first speak of Yogi Adityanath and ask me, in the context of that, what is this gaslighting that you think he's indulging in? When he says, in the context of Bangladesh, for example. You see, I want to ask you, sir, do you have a problem admitting to the fact that the majority Muslims in Bangladesh are killing Hindus? Because the sense of Muslim victimhood that is constantly invoked in this subcontinent would then not apply? Is that the reason? Why are you not answering my question about what happened in Kashmir, which was the only Muslim majority geography in this country?
You are wrong. This
Am
is
I
not
wrong?
only Muslim majority, because Lakshadweep is also having more than 90% Muslim population.
Sir, do you know? I don't want to say anything.
It's a fact.
But no, hang on. In Lakshadweep, when there was certain talk of reforms, do you know what happened?
Yes, of course.
So then what are you talking about? Where is that? No, where was their opposition coming from, and what basis? Hang on. What basis was the opposition? It was religious. So I'm asking you, in a secular country, why is it that one community always thinks that it can veto on religious lines? And I'm asking you this question, sir.
Rahul, if your debate tonight is a one-to-one debate, then it's okay. Otherwise, can I make my points here?
But I'm asking you to answer questions. You have come to answer questions. I gave you the space to give you a long preface. But you have not answered my fundamental question. If Yogi Adityanath is lying through his teeth about the fact that when Hindus get divided, jab wo batenge to katenge, I'm asking you very simply this.
That's what the point was coming out here.
No, you talk in the context of, let's take a couple of examples. Let's look at Punjab, sir. At the height of terrorism there, why were Hindus being pulled out of buses and lined up and shot? what was happening in Kashmir? Can you answer these questions?
This is a greater sinister plot.
Greater sinister plot, greater this, greater that.
In
Okay,
entire
Dr.
India,
Ranganathan
where
and
BJP
Tehseen Poonawalla wants to come in. No,
Rahul,
I think
Rahul,
you
I
don't
have
want to
not
answer my
finished yet.
question.
I have not finished here.
You are filibustering, sir.
No,
You're not answering
no,
my question.
No, because you don't want to listen to the factual facts out here. The RSS in a sinister campaign have orchestrated this hate from the state. Otherwise, in Madhya Pradesh, the bulldozer.
Sir, can I ask you, should the Congress
because
party have
person
tied up
had
with the... No, you're talking
protested
about the
against
RSS.
the
Let me
MP
ask you, should the Congress party have
Asking
tied up... No, hang on, let me
Fatima's
ask you
house
this
is not
question.
at the bulldozer
Straight
in
off. No,
Kanpur
let me ask you a
because the
question
father
straight
went
off.
for a protest against the state.
Kamru Chaudhary Saab, please
Somebody
be
who
reasonable.
protested against the RSS
Can
and
you
BJP
can you
government,
be
they
can
will
you be a little
languishing in
reasonable,
jail.
sir? Can you
The
be
Chief
reasonable?
Minister, no, my last question to you,
I have one
Rahul,
question.
is
Sir,
can the
I will ask a question.
can
Okay,
the
okay, one
BJP
minute.
say-
Now I have
can
to
the
exert,
BJP
no, now I have to
do they
exert my
want to
authority
relegate the Muslim
as the,
community
one
second
second, as
class
the moderator
citizens?
of this debate, and I have to step in and say, sorry, Mr. Chaudhary, you are not answering my question, you are sidestepping it. Perhaps you are gaslighting, I don't know. Let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan. Dr. Ranganathan, what do you make of this argument, this business of sidestepping my question?
Rahul, your question would have taken less than 10 seconds. Logical, rational person without an agenda to answer. What you asked was about the Kashmiri Hindus and them being victim of genocide. That question, it's been 8 minutes and wasn't answered. But that's besides the point. I want to make 2 quick points. Number one, would the panelists on your panel tonight, would they accept the fact that if today's BJP government were to make a law, so-called communal violence bill, BJP government, where it say that in the face of any communal riot, only the Muslims will be held guilty, what would be the reaction? I want to ask.
Tehseen
Kamru
Poonawalla.
and my good friend Tehseen.
Tehseen Poonawalla, would you like to respond?
They would do a dharna outside United Nations with all their coterie of journalists and
No, they'll
every
go to
media
Shaheen
person.
Bagh as they did with the CA.
But
Yeah.
the Congress did exactly the same thing. The communal violence bill 2009-2011 was saying in the face of any communal riot, the majority will be
Can I
held
please-
guilty.
I want to
This
ask
is the
you,
problem.
I cannot
This is
believe.
this.
Am I allowed
Mr.
to-
Poonawalla.
Can I now answer?
Mr.
I
Poonawalla.
cannot believe on such an on
Can I raise a
the
question?
nation's number one on the nation's number one show. We are actually talking about a bill that did not come into effect. There was some draft which was never came into effect.
Some draft?
Now, please allow. Look. You must allow me to
Okay,
speak.
yeah, go ahead.
Dr.
I'm not
Ranganathan
stopping
wasn't
you.
here. There is no communal violence bill. There was some idea propagated by somebody. By the way, majority also means linguistic majority. That bill also says linguistic majority. For example, like the BJP and the Shiv Sena and the MNS were beating up non-Marathi speaking people in Maharashtra. That was linguistic Marathi. It could be a Hindu who does not know how to speak Marathi and you were getting beaten up. That was for that. But because of, but that bill never came into effect. Point number one. Point number two. Now, let me address 2 very specific questions that nobody is willing to address. I grant Dr. Ranganathan that our Hindu fellow citizens have, of course, suffered in Kashmir. It's another matter that the Jagmohan and BJP were in government, but I am saying even the Congress, everyone. In today, 11 years of the strongest man in the universe, Modi ji, and 6 years of Vajpayee ji, in the last 25 years, 16 years of BJP, who has returned back to Kashmir? Zero.
Tell
You
me
spoke
why.
about the Waqf bill.
Tell me, one second. Tehseen
Because
Poonawalla,
these
why
people
are they
should
not
resign.
returning?
Now,
Why don't you answer that question? Why are they not returning?
supplementary
What is it
question,
that the
sir.
Kashmiri
Sir.
Hindus fear? Why do
The
they not want to
Kashmiri
go back?
Hindus don't have the Kashmiri
Tehseen, one
Hindus
second, you
don't
Can I
have
just
on
ask
the
a
same-
question?
You must
You know,
allow me to
Tehseen-
speak, Dr. Ranganathan. After you, I'll speak. You please make your
Tehseen-
point, but allow me the time
Yes.
to speak.
Can I make a
sorry
point?
to interrupt, but we were together,
Sure.
Tehseen, we were together on a panel, and when I said I want my Kashmiri Hindu brothers to return and to be settled safely and securely in Israel-like settlements, you know what happened? The zombie army, the uneducated Islamists went after me saying I'm calling for a genocide. When all I was doing was asking for the people who are victims of genocide to be rehabilitated.
And
This is what
and
you're fighting against.
I and
have
Indian
another
Muslims
question.
stood by you. Did I not
Allow
stand
me
by
a
you?
question.
Okay,
and
one
publicly
second.
tweeted?
Viewers,
Allow me a question,
one second.
please.
Allow me. No one's answered
Rahul,
one
just
question.
one
So
question.
Ratanji, just for
I'm
you, I'm
raising a
asking a
question.
question.
yeah, one second,
Ratan
Ratan
ji,
Sharda, let him
I
pose
will
his
ask you a
question. You
question.
can respond to it. No problem.
You only
Yes.
respond. I am granting what Dr. Ranganathan said, that lots of atrocities have happened on Hindus in India. I'm granting him. When the BJP was not in power, today, after 11 years of these two in power, Modi ji and Amit Shah ji and Yogi ji, tell me one Hindu reform they've done. They didn't even have the guts to bring the Waqf Act.
No,
The
hang on.
Waqf Act
Just a
लाने में
minute,
उनको
just
guts
a
नहीं है।
minute, just a
वो
minute.
act
Now,
लाने
now
में
look,
वो भी
look,
भेज
it's
दिया उन्होंने
easy,
parliamentary
it's
committee।
easy to start sort of unspooling on this to find a way
They have
out
nothing
of
but
the, no,
Hindu
one
Muslim
second,
in their
one second, one second. Tehseen Poonawala.
बिना हिंदू मुस्लिम
No,
की
one
इनकी
second,
दाल
one
नहीं
second,
गलती
one
है।
second. Viewers, let me take your memory back a little bit to 2019.
Just one question,
In
Rahul, just one
2019, yeah, okay, yes, Mr. Sharda, go ahead. Ask your question.
My
आप
simple
पहले बताइए
question
ना,
to
who's cutting
Tehseen and his
Hindus?
friend is that Congress party is saying that we will restore 370, we will take away all the earlier laws. So you have discrimination against women, you have
Congress
discrimination
has not
against
said that.
scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, you have
Congress has not
citizenship
said
rights
that.
from
Never
35.
said about
No,
Congress has
don't
not
try
said
to
that.
wait.
After Supreme
You
Court
are
judgment,
entire with that.
370
And I
settled.
Okay, just
showed
a
you-
minute.
Spread
I just
lies
showed
Okay,
you
what you can do.
let's not talk over
and I
each
just
other.
showed this video. I showed this video which clearly says we will release all the terrorists, we will pay them 1 crore rupees, and we will hang BJP leaders. That's your Congress leader saying.
No, no,
And
just
you
a
were
second.
restoring
We said
370.
about
One
You are
second,
in
one
dire
second.
condition,
Viewers,
Congress.
Of course
Are you
we
Viewers,
going
let
to
me
break
just
the
step in here,
constitution?
please. No
I am.
cross talk, please. No cross talk. One second. Hang on.
So don't
I
try
just
to
want
evade the main
I just want
question.
to very quickly,
RSS
viewers,
spreads
very
lies
quickly
and
talk
Ratan
about.
Sharda.
Hang on. Talk about a very simple law that was passed, the CAA. If you remember, viewers, the CAA
challenged
was
it.
brought. No, one second. The CAA was brought, viewers. Why? The CAA was brought simply to give refuge to minorities in Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. Predominant amongst those minorities are Hindus. To bring Hindus back from places where they were suffering genocide, and this no one can dispute. Maybe Kamru Chaudhary might dispute it, but others will not. Certainly, all three others will agree with me. But
Yeah.
I just want to say, viewers, what happened? You had riots in Delhi when a visiting president was in town. You had for about a year and 3 months Shaheen Bagh occupied. You had several other little protests of Shaheen Bagh. Why, viewers? If the community was so open-minded to Hindu interests, loved their Hindu brothers to that extent, why were they
5
against
seconds.
this bill?
5-second answer.
No one will answer. Yes, okay, Dr. Ranganathan, before I move on. Yes.
Can I answer?
I'll explain to you the psyche.
Yeah.
The psyche that has led to this. Quote, basically, the responsibility for communal peace rests on the majority community, that is the Hindus.
Yeah.
If there is a breach of this peace, I would start with the presumption that it has been caused by the Hindu communal elements, unquote, Jawaharlal Nehru 1959. This is the psyche. Unless we decode this, Rahul, we will never understand why the Hindus
One
have been
second.
discriminated in this country.
And
the
the
communal
problem
violence
is-
bill was not just a draft. It was the progeny of this thinking.
Yes.
And it was done by the NAC
So-
under the aegis of Sonia Gandhi.
So let me say, viewers, in this country, Sonia Gandhi allegedly cried buckets, according to her own, at that time, trusted minister, Salman Khurshid Saab, because there was an encounter that took place. Now, subsequently, everyone has tried to sort of deny that statement, this, that, the other, but just open your Google and type in, and Salman Khurshid, Sonia ji wiped tears and cried when the encounter was taking place in the Union capital against Simi terrorists. So, viewers, let's not try to obfuscate here. I am not saying that Yogi Adityanath has no motive in trying to unite the Hindu voter. We've had an election where people like Rahul Gandhi, who went on this great Bharat Jodo Yatra, also campaigned on the slogan, which was very divisive and created identity competitiveness, jitni abadi utna haq. So that was an attempt also to divide the Hindu voter, and they succeeded. So the BJP is conscious of that, and they're trying to sort of polarize. But who's given them the excuse to do so? Fundamentally, viewers, you have to ask yourself, this appeal is being heard or has been heard, or there is traction for it, because there is some truth at the end of the day to this slogan, Batenge to Katenge. Why are we mincing our words?
You're gaslighting, nothing else.
You have had it during the British, who decided to divide you. They played divide and rule between Hindus and Muslims, and yes, hum bate to kate, and that happened, viewers. You happened before that, when the first wave of settler colonization happened with Muslim rulers who came in. Our places of worship, a lot of Hindu places of worship were demolished, destroyed. Why was all that done, viewers? So, Dr. Ranganathan, yes, of course, Modi may not have satiated every Hindu's desire to turn this into a Hindu Mecca and so on and so forth. He's tried to do whatever he could do. Some people have come away feeling a little disappointed, but that doesn't mean that we forget the fact that when there are problems like in countries like Bangladesh, and certain leaders stand up and point them out, we should decry them as communalists. That was gaslighting, viewers, to use a word that Mr. Kamru Chaudhary has used. He will not answer another fundamental question. Why did the Congress and the left, for example, share a platform with the ISF in Bengal in the elections? He will not answer that question. He will not answer what is the mentality that led to a pogrom of Hindus or against Hindus in Kashmir. No answer there. He will also not tell us why is it that the Congress party takes no strong position against the DMK scion who came out and said, and he calls himself an atheist, he came out and said that, look, Sanatan Dharma should be eradicated. Can you imagine, viewers, saying that about any other minority religion? What would happen to the people who were making those slogans? They would lose their heads. So, viewers, let's not complicate this issue too much, overthink it too much. There is a problem. Hopefully, it will get addressed if we all come together as a community. I want to move on, viewers, because